By another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and featured titan today is Cisco Tercero. Cisco, thanks so much.
Greg, it's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.
Gosh, I'm super excited about this episode. I know there's lots of people in anticipation just to kind of consume you as a man, as a brand, as a professional. So let's just dive right into the series.
Absolutely, would love to.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a Colorado native. I was born in Denver.
Wonderful.
While my dad was attending Denver University.
Okay.
And shortly after that, we moved to Santa Fe. And that's where I would probably call hometown.
Okay.
We moved around a little bit, but that's hometown, Santa Fe.
Sure.
An amazing town, amazing community, great culture. The food is incredible. The
man.
architecture, art, music, lots to do. So
Love it.
recommend everybody go to Santa Fe, spend some time there. It's worth it. Totally
That's
worth it.
fantastic. And I'm a big foodie, Cisco, so you know me. I mean, when you said food, oh gosh.
Yeah.
So tell everybody a little bit further into your career, as a real estate professional, and you've accomplished so much in your time frame. So, what got you into the business? What was your progression? That sort of thing.
Certainly. I'm a very blessed man. I work really hard. I believe in working hard, of course, playing hard, of course.
Yeah.
My brother is actually the influence of why I joined real estate.
Okay.
My brother Brian is a real estate agent in Santa Fe, and he's doing very well.
Shout out to Brian if you're
Thanks,
watching.
Brian, thanks a lot for that. And through his and my talking about it, it just started to make sense.
Okay.
We talked about it for a number of years. I just never took the plunge. I was wrapped up. My background is I'm a professional musician, and I've been doing that since I was a child.
Wow.
And so my most recent gig, if you will, was I served as a music director for a local church here in Colorado Springs for the last 12 years.
Love it.
And before that, I have been in music with another number of other organizations, both locally, nationally, and even internationally, where I've been able to do some work for other folks and organizations. So
Wow.
as a musician, I that's one of my passions. One of my great passions is music. I play the piano, I sing, and I play a few other instruments as well. So that's kept me kind of grounded, and I still love to do it. Whenever I can get a gig, you might hear me sing one of these days.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, I think that's so great, and there's so many different professionals from so many different walks of life with different talents, and it's just nice for everybody to see that it's not all business, right? There's
Absolutely.
pleasure into life and other
You gotta
activities.
have fun, you gotta have a good drink, and a good cigar once in a while.
Good man. Listen to those guys. So coming into the career and obviously the influence with your brother, what was it like for your progression throughout your career thus far to today?
I've had some wonderful people in my life. I started out as a Keller Williams agent,
Okay.
and I know you recently interviewed Paul Goldenbogen.
Yes.
He's a wonderful man, and I value his insight, I value his intuition, I value his experience, and he and I have discussed at length, just how to develop a career, how to develop my career.
Love it.
So I've had a lot of good people in my life, and I think that's a big key that I've really held on to.
Right.
It's wise to have people that are smarter than you around you, and people that have been in the business much longer than I has really made a benefit to my growth.
Love
So it's just been a wonderful progress. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I love this job. I love
Okay.
this business. I love people,
Yeah.
and I love to take care of people, and people know that when I get into their lives. And the funny thing is, like, as the transaction progresses, more times out of not, probably 96% of the time, those clients become lifelong friends, almost borderline family.
Wow.
To where I described a minute ago that I've done music and such. I hold a minister's license as well.
Oh, okay.
And so with that, I have performed officiated weddings for some of my great friends.
Oh, I love it.
And even some of my clients. So during the transaction of a buy side, for example, they wanted to get married. So I was able to marry them, and then we completed the purchase of the transaction. And then later on, we sold the house as they grew. So it's just wonderful. I mean, it's like if you take care of your folks, they will come back.
And that speaks volumes for you as a man and a professional, and the legacy that you've already laid out before you, here in the community. The people that know you and love you, your clients that are out there watching us, they know that you're just an amazing man, and what you've done is fantastic. Taking care of the people and really giving back. So that's a perfect inlay to the next question, which I think is great, Cisco, is what is your why? What motivates you to do what you do to the level that you do it at?
I really believe myself and many folks, all of us in fact, I believe we're here for a purpose. And I really believe a portion of my purpose is to care for others.
Wow.
And I'm able to do that now also through real estate. And I mean, everyone needs a place to live.
Sure.
And there's a lot of folks that are buying and selling. Life changes are occurring day and night. Babies are being born. Kids are moving away. Things are happening in life. Some joyful, some not so joyful.
Right.
So I think being able to wake up every morning knowing that my purpose is to help as many folks as I possibly can with a genuine heart, with integrity, with honesty, with compassion, and with fervor. I mean, my clients know if Cisco's on the job, we're getting it done. No matter what, we will take care of it, and they know that. So they're able to rest confidently knowing that my purpose is for their well-being.
Wow. And I think that reiterates another really good point for everybody out there who just heard this man and saw this man say what he said. This show is not just about commission checks and transactions. It's about giving and caring and really serving people to the highest level. So this is a perfect example, everybody, of what that looks like and what that is. So that's fantastic, Cisco, and that's a beautiful why. Really caring for others. It's bigger than ourselves.
It's huge, and the thing that's remarkable is that by me doing what I feel like I do best, which is caring for others, that focus then translates into for my children, for their children, for my friends, for my family.
This is live, everybody.
And it just helps me become a better man.
Okay, and I think that's fantastic, Cisco. And going into it, there's so many different whys that we all have in our lives, but I think that's beautiful, especially for what we're talking about here for business. So let's go into the more advisory portion of this interview, and a lot of the viewers that are watching this, whether they're new or seasoned, really enjoy this portion because they're trying to find nuggets of information to grow their business, to really see what the Titans have had success with and apply it to their business. So if you could look back at your business thus far, and pick or choose one or two things that you might have added to your business that took it from one level to the next, what does that look like for you?
I mean, there's so much to choose from. I mean, as we grow, in business or as people, there's a lot to select from. Of course, making mistakes is the best thing you can do. That's how you learn.
I love that.
And I believe in that truthfully. I really think that back in November of 2017, I decided to attain my employing broker's license.
Okay.
And open up my own shop. And that was one of my dreams when I first began in real estate anyway. I told my brother that, and I've talked with other folks that are in my life about that. That was really one of my pursuits, was to achieve my own shop.
Love it.
So with my partner Nicole and I, we work really hard to create an environment for every one of our clients, everybody that we run into. I mean, we're generating leads when we go to the grocery stores. We generate leads when we go to pick up a bite to eat. It matters not where we are. There's always someone that needs something. Everyone has a story to tell. So I think that was kind of the pinnacle for me at this point in my career, was being able to open my own doors to my own shop and be able to just run fast.
Sure. I think that you're cutting right to it, and I think that there's so many people that are thinking about maybe making a change and a move, and everybody in real estate is entrepreneurial in spirit, but certain people need a little bit more advice or a little bit more education or hand-holding, if you will. But I think that the moral of that story is that you just take that plunge. If you're ready to do you and take it to another level, I mean, it wasn't easy, but you did it. I mean,
yeah, it isn't easy. I mean, lots of research, talk to the right people, talk to lots of people.
Sure.
One of the philosophies that I try to live by, and I pass this on to a lot of my friends and family and clients, is we make better decisions with more information. So gather as much information as you can before making a decision, because you will feel more comfortable in the decision you made. Now, granted, that decision could be right, could be wrong. It's irrelevant. It's the fact that you took the plunge, you jumped. You will land on your feet.
Love it. Listen to this man. Hopefully everybody's writing that down. That's huge. And another takeaway that for me at least stood out too is obviously having the plan, the dream, and then taking the action, but then surround yourself with good people. You mentioned Nicole. So shout out to Nicole if you're watching.
Hey Nicole, thanks for all your work.
Yeah,
you're amazing.
She is absolutely amazing. And I think that everybody who we surround ourselves with really has an impact and influence that way. So I think that's a takeaway as well. Is,
absolutely.
Surrounding yourself with great people, better people that can lift you up. Different pieces of the puzzle to make that sum of all parts.
Absolutely.
So that's a really good point that you mentioned in there, Cisco. So, all right, now, this is the tricky part here when it
Here we
comes
go.
down to this interview and what I like to consider the challenge question. There's so much positivity in real estate, professional equal to challenge, whether it's in the past, now, or in the future. We all deal with it. So if you could share a challenge that you dealt with in your life that you overcame, that you became a stronger man because of it, what does that look like for you, Cisco?
I would probably have to go back and say I'm the oldest of 8 siblings.
Okay.
Okay, so I grew up in a large family.
Good sized family.
Yeah, it was a large family. So, I mean, the smallest details were monumental. Going out to eat, for example. I mean, we took half the restaurant.
Right.
You know, that's just the way it was.
Sure.
So, at a very early age, being the oldest of 8, I was very helpful to my parents. And so I've kind of been raising kids since I was a kid myself.
Wow.
And so, which has impacted my life immensely. I believe it's prepared me for my own fatherhood, and it also has given me that heart of a dad, of a father, to really apply that towards everyone that I encounter every day.
Wow.
Of course, the challenges of being in a large family with a lot of brothers and sisters is that I was my dad's right-hand man.
Okay.
I worked everything. I mean, if we're fixing a car, Cisco was the guy. If we're working under the house, Cisco was the guy. One of the responsibilities that I had for my dad to help him out was, my dad was a minister of a small church.
Okay.
And also the principal of a very small school. Well, we lived in northern New Mexico, and it was very cold in the winters. I mean, 30 below is average.
Wow.
In the winters. I mean, horrible. And so one of the things that I did to help my dad was I would wake up at 5 in the morning and go light fires, because these properties were heated by wood stoves. No baseboard heating, no gas, none of this.
Okay.
So wood stove. So I would go and I'd light a fire in the school, and I would light a fire in the sanctuary area. And that was just something that I did for my dad. So I've grown up very quickly to be, I don't want to say a man, but somewhat.
Sure.
By the age of 10, I was driving a stick shift truck, running a chainsaw side by side with my dad, because he had a wood cutting and delivery business to supplement income. And so I grew up working. And so I know what hard work means. And one of the things I truly believe in is just, we want to get tired in the work. You never want to get tired of the work.
Well
and
said.
so that just helps us to be able to take a break, take a breath, relax, but then wake up the next morning and go after it again. Because every day is a new day, and go get some more.
I love
There's
that.
always more.
You know, Cisco, there's so much inspiration to what you just said there, and again, not growing up with the typical silver spoon, if you will. I mean, you're working in a large family, and you're being in that eldest position. There is a lot of weight that's placed on there, and you didn't let it tear you down. In fact, I think, like you said, you let it turn you into a man faster. And I still feel that there's a lot of people, and everybody who knows you and works with you, you still are that go-to guy for everything.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You were as a kid,
Absolutely.
and now you are as a man and a businessman. So I think that carried you on, made you the man who you are today. Not to say that anybody wants to deal with challenges or have struggles or hardships in their lives, but I think that we look at it with a positive nature, and that's really beneficial for everybody out there. So,
well, as we grow, there's pains when you grow. As a child, I recall, there's growing pains in my legs. It hurts at night when you're growing. You're stretching. It's not comfortable. It's not an easy chair to sit in, but it's worthwhile, and you just have to keep going. Just keep pressing forward, failing forward. You know, you make a mistake, you get up, you dust yourself off, get it again, do it again, do it again. Some of the things that I like to talk to my kids about, for example, is when you do if you do one thing in order to create a habit, the first time you do something, it should scare you because you've never done it before, right? But if you repeat that same thing the second time, it's more of a nervous feeling because you have a little of experience from the previous run.
Right.
By the third time you do the same thing, now it's almost natural. And so that's one of the things that I've tried to live by as I've grown up. I'm a big thinker. I love to think, and I love to think out loud. And I talk to myself occasionally.
That's
sometimes
great.
are the best conversations.
Yeah,
except when I lose the argument. That's the only problem.
You're like, Cisco, you won again.
Exactly.
Come on.
But I think, growing up with all of my brothers and sisters, I mean, it taught me to do much with little. And not from a little in the sense that it's poverty, but from the sense of, I mean, it wasn't an abundance necessarily, but there was enough. We always had enough, and so you learn to be grateful for what you have. You learn to remain humble. You never forget where you've come from. All of these little pieces that have become cliche in our society and in our generations, those are truths. Grandma taught us those truths. Grandma taught my dad those truths, and so on and so forth.
I think that's huge. I mean, when it comes to the challenge, I mean, that's not easy to share, Cisco, and I know that I appreciate that, and everybody else does as well, and there's so much to take away from that, so hopefully everybody takes that to heart, because I know that I did for sure with that. And thank you for sharing, because it's not easy, Cisco. But let's go to a slightly softer question for everybody out there. So if you could travel back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice or two, in any form or any fashion, any age range, what would you say to younger Cisco?
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
I have all of these alerts on my phone.
Totally
I apologize, everybody.
No, sorry, everybody. Again, it's live.
Technical difficulties live on set.
Let's do it.
Now I understand what SNL goes through when they do their Saturday Night Live skits.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? We're almost as funny. Not but close.
Close.
Yeah, that's close.
You know, I think I would go back and tell myself, just be brave. Go for it. Jump. Take the risk. It's worth the risk. It's worth the jump. You will land on your feet.
Wow.
And if you don't, it's going to be okay.
Sure.
You know, I mean, that's part of growing. I would tell myself, love more, care more, be more generous, be faithful, be loyal, be honest, be courteous. Wow. I mean, I would take all of the truths of what we've grown up with and what we really believe in as people to really take those values and apply them to my life as a man now. I'm growing. I learn every day. I make mistakes every day. That's part of this. Life is messy. You know, I mean, we could say so many different phrases that we hear day to day.
Sure.
They're all true. And so I really try to take what I do every day and just be present. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
Right.
We'll figure it out tomorrow. Today's the day we need to deal with. And so I think those are some of the takeaways that I would present myself with now. Just go for it.
That's huge. And there's so many people out there that they restrict themselves. You know, there's fear involved, there's anxiety, there's different pressures in our lives that stop us. But I think that more of us really need to just take that leap, keep going forward. Not just young Cisco, right? But everybody who's watching this, myself included. I think that's great advice. You know, planning and doing the best you can, but you don't want that, you know, paralysis of analysis sort of scenario. You really just want to do your due diligence, follow your heart, your gut, your head, and then go for it. And that's huge advice.
Definitely.
I mean, and obviously entrepreneurial, everybody here. I mean, this man. So I think that's great, huge takeaways. Now let's go into one of the favorite portions of the series is the education piece, the feeding of the mind. There's so many viewers out there that really wonder and are curious. They want to grow their minds, very similar to how the Titans do. So if you could look back, you know, books you're reading, podcasts you're listening to, or influencers in social media, coaches, what are you feeding your mind?
You know, I do love to read. I do love to better myself through knowledge.
Okay.
And I'm one of those that I want to know everything I can possibly know. I want to be an expert in my field.
That's great.
And so there's challenges, of course, with that. And there's reward, great reward. There's a book that I'm rereading, actually. It's by John C. Maxwell called The 360-Degree Leader.
Wow.
And the reason that I like to read that on occasion is because it brings me back and reminds me. My style of leadership is very much of a servant style leadership.
Right.
I've never been.
Love it.
If somebody needs something, you get it done. You help. You do what you need to do. People and people let down just in that it's just not my time to help. I have to.
Right.
So I think one of the things that I've learned is in reading this book, it's helped polish some of the rough edges so that I can continue to remind myself to remain humble, to remain faithful, to remain loyal, and to just do my part.
Wow. I think that's there's a lot of really good stuff into that, and that's why I think that this particular question people really get involved with, because this is something that you've learned over time, and rereading a book, right, that matters to you, that touches you. I think that so many people, they pick up a book, you know, they highlight it one time, they put it on a shelf, and they're done. Right. I think that's not really getting everything out of it. And something that you had just mentioned that really brought a thought into my mind for hopefully everybody to sit is different stages of your life. You might read a book 5 years ago and your thinking and your thought process is different, but then you've changed and adjusted over those 5 years and you might catch something completely different.
Absolutely.
So that's great advice as well, is just to not read one book one time or listen to it one time and then put it away. I mean, go back, reread, take a look, and apply it to certain lives.
It's important. You find new truths. You find new things. You discover new treasures that were like, I never read that before. What does that mean? And then you dissect that one segment, and all of a sudden that becomes a value.
It's huge. I love that. So anything else with podcasts, anything like that? Or
Well, to be honest, I mean, I follow your show.
Oh, come on.
And I mean it sincerely. I mean, one of the things that I really value is that your friendship we've been friends for a while now.
Yes.
And before I opened my company, we met and we discussed very openly possibilities, pitfalls, experience, what could be's, dreams.
Right.
And so you were actually quite influential in helping me establish my social media platform for both myself and Nicole. So we are extremely grateful to you.
Oh, thank you.
And so, yeah, as being included in this group, it's an honor. It is a true honor.
Okay, well, likewise. And again, you didn't have to say that. I appreciate that. I mean, it means a lot to me, everybody. But I think that echoes back onto getting different perspectives from different professionals and really just bringing those good people into your life. Light attracts light. So, I mean, you do that better than most. So that's really, really exciting to see. And again, thanks for sharing that too. So just so everybody knows, I'll have links in the comments down below so that you can feed your mind the same way that Cisco is and grow your brand and grow your mind that way too. So, Cisco, this has been chock full of information. Top notch, really, really great takeaways. Last question to wrap this whole thing up when it comes down to it. So if you could sum up you as a man, as a brand, a professional, with a quote or a mantra that you live by, what does that look like for you?
I have a couple, if I may.
Yeah, oh yeah, hit them.
I mean, the first one that I really believe in is start your day with love and end your day with love.
Wow.
It's that simple. And that doesn't necessarily mean a relationship. The word love encompasses so much. It doesn't necessarily encompass only an embrace or a relationship between two people.
Right.
It more encompasses the idea. Love is care. Love is compassion. It is hope. It is joy. It is dignity. It is grace. It is integrity. All of those pieces, if I demonstrate any one of those to you, I've shown you love.
Wow.
I believe if we show love and care to every one of our clients, any one of our peers, every one of our family members, every one of those who have even hurt us, if we extend that hand of grace, we change a life. And it changes our life while it's changing their life. It's incredible. So I try hard to live by start your day with love, end your day with love.
It's huge.
Another one that I truly believe in is, I mean, I feel like I'm fairly confident. I really believe in what I do and what I believe in.
Right.
So another one that I would recite to you would be, I believe I can do anything, and I believe I can do everything. And with hard work and diligence and passion and scraped legs and knees and bruises and cuts and bleeding out, you will achieve. And finally, the last final one that we use this in our company every day, and that is whatever we do for you in the Tercero Group Realty, it doesn't matter what it is, a simple phone call. If you just need me to listen, we're good at that too. Wow. And the phrase that we have actually on our business cards is, we do everything always with your family in mind.
I think that, you know, each one of those phrases and captions, it sums you and what you do beautifully up. I think that's fantastic, Cisco. And, you know, I can definitely attest to that. All that being said and true for 100%. So, Cisco, again, thank you so much for taking the time. You are an official real estate titan, my friend.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
For sure. This was great and huge information. So everybody, hopefully you really enjoyed this episode. As always, thanks so much for your time and attention, your love and support. Live every Tuesday and Friday afternoons, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.